Is this still being hosted in Kiev?
I don't know where the servers are globally.
Okay.
The software guys are in Kiev, yeah. But the
Kiev.
servers are all around the world.
Here we go.
And we're live. How about that then?
Yeah.
And if I press
But
that,
not me.
Yeah.
well, I can just see. I can see. Well, I'll show you what I can see.
Yeah, I can see the same as you. The crappy thing called.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
well,
The show must go on.
Indeed. Welcome to the show. And I think I need to edit this. This is episode 423, I think. Isn't it? I lose count. Anyway, we'll advertise it as such. So let me put written episode 423 and UK News Review with Stephen and Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hello. From sunny Aberdeen.
Well, hello from sunny Wiltshire. Summer arrived yesterday.
Yeah.
And this time around, it looks like it's going to stay.
Yeah. Good.
Just right. Okay. Now, something happened yesterday. Well, first of all, today is the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year.
Okay.
And people will be celebrating at Stonehenge. And it's very important.
They won't miss it.
Well, no, I mean, basically, yesterday, for those of you who've not heard, Just Stop Oil decided to attack Stonehenge with orange powder, which they threw over 3 stones. It was 2 people working on behalf of Just Stop Oil.
Yeah.
And they, in fact, as far as some people are concerned, they desecrated Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Peter.
I think it's time to tighten up. Do you know what's going to happen with these people? They will not be happy until someone's killed.
Yeah.
Someone will die and there'll be much weeping. Somebody's going to jump out their cars and throw them off a bridge or something, and then all hell will let loose. Let's have a police force that can go in and say, you go in there, you're getting 2 years. On the road, 2 years. On the road, 2 years. On the road, 2 years. Not waking them up. They'll be martyrs, but they'll still do 2 years in the neck.
There was an interview on Times Radio this morning with the representative of Just Stop Oil. And she was a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters to them is that we've all got to stop using oil by 2030, which is a number that they've been given by somebody else. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. We live in the UK. We are responsible for 1% of the world's pollution. Whatever we do doesn't matter, because it's India, it's China, it's Pakistan.
I think they should go to China and demonstrate.
Yeah. I mean,
I think they should go to Pakistan and demonstrate.
Yeah. We might be the world's 5th largest economy, but as far as people are concerned, we're just 1% of the world.
It's just getting beyond a joke. I think everything's went too far, but once Labour come in, if you think we're restricted in our speech at the moment, well, you've got something coming.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Peter, because I think from reading the rooms and all the polls that are going around, Labour are going to form the next government on July 5th, which is voting day. Is 2 weeks today. We're all going to have a chance to vote 2 weeks today as to who we want to have in power for the next 5 years. And the runes are saying that it will be Labour. 3 polls yesterday said the Conservatives will disappear, be decimated.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Be careful what you wish for.
Well, you shouldn't. I would agree that you shouldn't have one party who's got total power. Yeah, because if you get 500 MPs, then whatever you want to do, you can do. No matter what you said before, which you hinted at earlier,
well,
you can do what you want.
Up here, I do believe that I should be tactically voting, but I just can't bring it onto me to vote Labour.
Right.
I've had a Labour person at the door delivering. I wasn't in. This is for Peter. And I wouldn't have given him a hard time. I'd have just discussed things. But I'll tell you exactly what I've done. I've actually joined the Reform Party. I've joined.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
paid £25 to join, to let them know I'm up here.
Yes.
And even other people I know haven't joined, but they're voting Reform up here.
Right.
Yeah, which may surprise some people. But tactically, hopefully, Labour will get in here. And but the difficulty we've got at the moment is there's still a lot of people voting for the SNP.
Well, morning, Corinda. And wait a minute, Corinda's busy writing. Just a minute.
Hi.
How's everyone? We're good, thank you, Corinda. We hope that you are too. He's a speed typer. He agrees with you, Peter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah. Sorry, go on.
that's me. I've always followed Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
And boy, does he shake them up. I've got to tell you that, because he just comes in at the right time. And when he was in the European Parliament and he says to them, when I first come here, you were all laughing. You're not laughing now. Great speech that was. And that man is starting to make people think. Yeah. So much so that seemingly there's going to be tactical voting in Clacton.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically he is he's standing to be an MP in Clacton.
Yeah, they just
Which is
can't
the-
see him getting in. It would be the worst nightmare for them, you know. But
Good morning,
that's-
John. What are you drinking today?
Well, I think it's minestrone soup. But
Okay.
yeah, it's not very exciting, whatever it is. It tastes a bit like
Yeah.
dishwater.
Yeah,
Right. We're just talking. We've done Stonehenge. It's dropped off the front of the newspapers already. So
yeah.
Well, I think they should declare Stop Oil a terrorist organisation
But a great
and
idea.
make membership an offence. But then I'm radical.
I've got a new slogan for them.
Yeah.
Just stop oil, destroying the planet one stone at a time.
Well, I noticed Corinda's put up something there. Let me come back on that.
Going on about the NHS.
Yes, right. I love my NHS. But unfortunately, Scotland, it's fell behind. Okay? I just got an operation last week. It went well. Took me a long time to get it. However, before that, I had to pay private to find out what the problem was. And then after I paid it, £800, it all came in about the following week after I'd paid my money. Right? And I was so annoyed about that. But let me tell you about the NHS, about wastage. My partner, who is well away from it now, was acting ward manager, and they said, can you reduce costs? What can you reduce costs? And she sat for ages, and it was to do with padding, right? And she looked at how the other nurses were using it and said, right, let's have a look at this, right? And whatever she done, it saved, I think it was about £7,000 a year if they'd done it. Do you know what they said?
No, go on.
But if you do that, they'll take the money away from us in the budget.
This is the problem with all budgeting in basically in any public run company is you're given a budget
Yeah.
and you've got to spend it. And if you don't spend it, it disappears.
Yes.
And that's basically the way it all works.
And that's the way it works. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And she spent a lot of time in it. And here's another thing. I've got a piece of software that I do my risk assessments, etc. on, okay? Take maybe 15 minutes to do one. And she watched me one day and she says, "So, what did you do?" She "Well, that and that." She was the risk assessment nurse for the ward as well. She goes, "I would sit all day doing that." So there you go. There's wastage there. There is wastage. Yeah. Now, every time I go to the hospital, Corinda, I get good service once I get it. But there was a talk on, we're getting a lot of Scottish politicians on the radio now, but 14 years, the SNP person, 14 years they've been in power. He says, but you've been in 17. SNP's been in 17.
Yep, right.
And you've not done any better than what you've done. And the problem is, anything good that the government would give Scotland, the SNP probably wouldn't implement it because it doesn't look good in them.
Okay.
Yeah, all these things are going on in the past, you know. And in fact, I was listening to a program yesterday with a lady whose mother was an SNP councillor, MP, I think it was. And she gave us a lot of inside dealing what was happening, the daughter. And so there's a lot of things happening there to do with the election money. Very interesting. But this is the time, sorry going for it, this is the time when the backstabbing starts. If you think Rishi Sunak's going to be here by the end of the year, you've got another thing coming. Even if he wins, well, he won't win the election. That's my view.
Yeah, I mean, he won't. He doesn't. I'll be voting Lib Dem. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, these people are actually being investigated for actually gambling on the date of the election, close to Sunak. There's been.
Is it worth? I imagine his protection officer gambling on it.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's jailable.
Yeah. Well, there's somebody else as well. It's getting more and more complicated. More and more people involved, and okay. And Corinne is saying even when you want surgery, you've got to pay now, and also
we haven't experienced that. In fact, all three of us have had associated surgery. I mean, Celia's had hers, not me, but you two guys have both had visits to the hospital, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, somebody who had the same problem as we was in the Saturday, the same week. I had to wait 3 months for my operation because they went private. You know, and that's and it's probably the same guy cutting you open that does it with the NHS. But anyway, it's just a way of life. I never thought in my day and age I would have to pay to go and see a doctor to get a diagnosis. And then when I did go, I got needled. I got needling last week. It was sore. Even with anaesthetic. She says, "Are you Peter Stewart?" I goes, "Yes." She says, "I've been told to make this hurt by a lot of people." Yeah. I looked it up on YouTube to see what happens. You should look it up. Yeah, so think we're so lucky we don't live in America with their system.
Say good morning to John.
Oh no, who's John?
John Jackman.
I see. Do you rejoin us?
This is one for Peter.
As an EU citizen, I'm not an EU citizen. Do you rejoin? What's that question meaning?
John is the EU citizen.
It's a request from John that we should rejoin the EU.
No, we've had that vote. We've never. The Conservative Party, who I voted for all my life, ruined it. Because they couldn't get their act together, because the Remainers within the party sabotaged everything they've done, and that's why they deserve to be shut down as a party in the next election, and get people who can be united in their view.
Yeah. Basically, Brexit is slipping away in our memories. It's not as important. We're at the time when they do polls on everything, on what do you most, and Brexit only scores 14%. So 86% of the population at the moment are not unduly bothered about Brexit.
It's done.
If I remember right, John is Dutch, I think.
Or Dutch, okay. Yeah.
Might be wrong though. He'll tell me if I'm wrong in a moment.
John, tell us what life's like with the new guy that got in from the right side of the party. Or what's his name? Forgetting his name. Who'd have thought they would never get in? No, what's the name of that guy?
Can you say the question again, Peter?
No, the guy that they would call him the right winger that got into Parliament. What do you call him? The blonde-haired guy.
Which country?
I forgot his name.
Holland he's talking about.
Holland. Well, actually, over in Europe, there's big changes there. The more right side of politics are starting to get in, because Wilders, that's him, because they've woken up. They've woken up.
Right.
That's what's happened. They brought it on themselves. Gaza.
Corinne is asking if there's any news on Gaza and Israel. No, there isn't. They're trying to broker a peace. America's heavily involved. All the Middle East are involved. They're trying to broker a peace where the war just stops and there's a truce, and that is a temporary truce, and then the temporary truce turns into a long-term truce. But it's not happening. Despite the pressures being placed on Israel and on Hamas, nobody's taking ownership, are they, Peter? Nobody's actually.
No, I mean, all I would say is, what would America do if somebody went to Hawaii and took a lot of their citizens and said they're hostages? What do you think America would do?
Probably nuke Hawaii, but that's obviously
So that's what I mean. I'll give you every week I go into the city centre and there's a cafe. It's called Greg's, and every week there's supporters of Palestine outside telling us the same message, and they're speaking, but they're speaking to themselves. There's nobody interested outside Barclays Bank, and the people inside come out and say, "Could you keep a noise down, please, and shut the door?" But there's nobody harassing them or anything like that. Yeah. One guy told me he got arrested because he smoked outside the cafe. Guy come up to him and said, "You get away from here smoking." And he told him to F off or something. No.
Yeah.
The guy that was smoking got arrested. And the policeman, he told me, he says, "We'll make an example of you." That's what he told me. "We'll make an example of you."
Just going back to John for a moment. John Jenkins. A democracy run by polls is not a democracy. I first mentioned MAGA for a long time there. Basically, the news is driven by what people are looking for, and therefore, because only 14% are interested in Brexit, it drives the whole thing. So you have to have polls to know what people think. So, what people answer the polls think anyway.
I don't even kind of look at them now, because it changed tomorrow. I mean, I used to be an avid paper reader, and I even got it free now on Press Reader. If you don't have Press Reader, go and get it. It's free from your local library on your app. I don't even look at the papers anymore. I've got other things in my mind. It's about me sorting my life out. Never mind anybody. Whoever they vote in, I'll just go with the flow. I'll just do that. That's all I'll do.
But funny enough, talking about newspapers, my favourite shop is Lidl. I think you're probably already aware of that. Aldi comes second. Lidl still sells newspapers.
Yes.
And I was talking to the shift manager the other day, and I said, "What a great big waste of space." And she said, "No, you're wrong. We sell more newspapers than you think we would."
Wow.
She said, "Because there's still people who love to hold a traditional newspaper and sit down and have a traditional read."
Yeah. I tell Sheila off if she
said the row underneath is children's comics, and she sells more of them than she does newspapers.
That's good. It's good that people can still read them. Basically, I tell Sheila off if she buys those newspaper, and she used to really give me a hard time. I said, "What's this? What are you bringing out of the house?" One paper a week.
Typical Scotsman. Well, it won't be of interest to Peter, but whilst we've been on air, I don't know if Stephen's listening. Whilst we've been on air, Leicester City appointed Steve Cooper as manager on a 3-year contract.
Good. Who are Burnley going to appoint?
That's
what I want to know. We're waiting for our new manager. It's okay. I've broken something. I'm just trying to fix it whilst we're live. Just give me a second.
Right.
Right, I fixed it. Yeah, Burnley. I mean, that's a good appointment, isn't it, John?
I think it's a very good appointment.
Yeah. As I said, Burnley are waiting for a new manager, and all sorts of names are being put up, and the fans are shooting them down. So as soon as somebody's suggested, there's a section of fans saying, "No, not going to happen." So we've got another month. The whole thing starts again on August 21st. We're only 2 months away from the start of the next season. Okay, which gives us Peter. Well done to Scotland last night, drawing 1 apiece in the European Cup, in the Europe
Looks away with a blank stare. I'm about the only guy in Scotland that's not interested in the football.
Well, the bookies reckon that Pardew is the leading contender for the manager's job at Burnley, with Bellamy a very close second, because we wouldn't have to pay any money for either of those.
No.
So, Peter, you're not following the football?
No, I'm not interested. Not interested.
I had to ask when the next next England match was last night, to be told it's today. So
no.
That's how excited I am about the European Championships.
My interest now is just YouTube. But I'll tell you what happened last Sunday. I don't know if you know about this. I was live on the Trisha Goddard show.
Tell us more.
So, I followed up in an article about employing older people. Hey, don't I look beautiful today? Anyway, so I put an art. I was the iNews put out. Was it iNews? They put out an article about somebody that had been employed older, and I congratulated him. I says, "Well done." She got back to me, and then I got an article from her, and then the Mail Online gave me an article with the same story, rejigged, and then I done a live interview for an Irish radio station. And then I got contacted by Talk TV last week. You can actually look it up online, and I'm on it about 16:20 that day. And so I got that, and it was just about employing older people, and I think it went across quite well. I know in Mail Online, this is a better look at the comments. Boy, people were. I got a lot of people praising me for what I've done, you know. And so what I'm trying to say is, if you're in a new business and you're looking for extra staff, do not forget about pensioners and even older people than 55 plus. They're good, reliable workers. And I also did defend younger people, because somebody says that's not fair on younger people. Well, I have employed younger people in the past. They last about a week to 2 weeks because we're very busy. But what I will say, have you ever seen people in those burger joints? They work hard. Anyway, Stephen, sorry about that.
No, you're okay. We've had a request, and it's not often we get the request. Where is the snake? Well, for you, Corinda, and because we can, we're going to have the snake on screen.
The snake, isn't this a bit of old-fashioned technology?
Yeah.
No, it's basic. Well, it's been around for years. Yeah. It was in the paper, wasn't it, Peter? I read it.
No, it's on YouTube with Trish show. Yeah. Trish Goddard. She's in America now.
Right. Okay. Where else can we go? Morning, Kevin. If you've got any pointers as to what you'd like to talk about, please say. Same with you, John. And Corinda's always directing the show. So, Corinda, if you want to suggest a topic, please do. Yeah, I'm just grateful that summer's arrived. Are you grateful, John, from an allotment point of view?
From an allotment point of view, it's, yes, crazy, but the grass doesn't stop growing. So two of us were tackling the 3 foot tall grass last night and knackered afterwards, even though we'd got 2 wheeled strimmers.
No. But how does it, this time of year, if you see, what's it done for you, John, at this time of year? Is it usually different at this time? No, same. Tell you what surprised me.
Weather's unpredictable, and its effect on the allotments is.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I was surprised at. I've been looking at snakes recently online. Do you know there's a lot of snakes in London?
Yeah, there are more snakes in England than we realise as well, because there are other species that are. We all think of adders and grass snakes, but there are quite a lot of other snakes as well.
There's one, because walking along the canal in London, the guy says, let's go snake hunting. And just where people walk along the canal is a fence, and he said, look, there's one in there. There's another snake that was introduced. Can't remember the name of it now. And adders, even out in the commons. You wouldn't think they were there, but they're there.
Yep.
So, Kevin, you're in London. Have you seen any adders?
On the canal by London Zoo and seeing snakes, but the snakes have got nothing to do with London Zoo. They're just natural snakes.
That's right. But I was surprised how many were there, just feet away from you, And I used to walk out areas, and I had a phobia. So I've been watching rattlesnakes a lot in America, where they're going. There has always been snakes, and is that living people or is it snakes?
Yeah. I hope he's not talking about himself.
Yeah. In fact, when I worked in the roads in London, it wasn't me. My friend was telling me they had a job. They put things at the side of the roads and the motorways and that, and they went and counted the snakes that was under them, so that they put on a road traffic management to protect them while they looked to see how many snakes there was. Quite amazing, yeah. And but I didn't know that, yeah.
Well, changing the topic, I'm afraid I had an unpleasant experience on Sunday.
Okay.
Somebody put the window through in my car in the early hours of the morning, but the alarm didn't go off, because they just reached in and took what was on the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Which was a bag of pork rind puff and a sandwich.
Right.
But it took until yesterday for National Windscreens to get the glass to Birmingham, and I had to go into Birmingham so that the guy could fit it in the workshop, as opposed to trying to fit it at the side of the road. It's easier, I think. to do them in the workshop where they have other, electricity and other things to hand. And then there was a mad panic when he phoned me back and he said, it says Kia Rio on the glass and yours is a Stonic. But it turns out the glass is universal between the two cars. And it fitted perfectly.
Yeah.
It's the shop.
So it's been hidden in the corner of the drive with a temporary repair from Tesco's, £2.15 from Tesco's, a 15-metre roll of saran food wrap around it to make it watertight.
Well, Sheila went away, is it last week? I don't know if I tell you, she went away in her camper van, but she had a blowout when she was driving it. She had a blowout. And it was just a mess, and she pulled in and she had to get a new tyre and everything, so that wasn't so good. But she's a hardy woman, hardy woman. But I couldn't phone her because when she's driving, she doesn't answer the phone, even if hands-free. She won't do it because she's concentrating,
Celia won't use the hands-free in her car either.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you can link up to five different phones, so I can use the hands-free in hers with my phone.
Yeah.
Yes, Corinda, I did report it to the police, not that it was worthwhile.
And they came out in 3 weeks, or did they just give you a reference number?
They gave me a reference number and then they asked me to upload my neighbour's CCTV, but my neighbour doesn't have any CCTV, so I'm not quite sure.
I watch these auditing things and people go with their cameras. Do you know something? They turn up within 5 minutes for that, but they won't go to a burglary. Somebody with a camera filming outside a building. Perfectly legal. They turn up for that, but they won't go to a burglary.
And they'll I saw the one outside Portsmouth Dockyard where he never stepped over the line.
No.
But he still ended up with about 8 policemen there. They were not policemen, not.
How did you manage to see that one? Are you a secret auditor watcher?
I watch them occasionally when it comes up in my suggestions. So, Kevin, why did I leave sandwich on the seat of my car overnight? I filled up with petrol late on in the evening and I thought, I'll get a sandwich and a bag of crispy things to eat at the allotment tomorrow for my lunch. And then I didn't take him in, but now I'll put them in the bloody boot. See, the thing is, if I take him in the house, I forget to put them in the car when I go down the allotment. Yeah. So now I'm not leaving anything visible in the car, even if it's just a bag of crisps. It'll have to go in the boot.
Speaking of food,
is it an isolated incident, John? Are the many break-ins?
Well, I live in Alton, which is next door to Acox Green. In Alton, they just tend to steal your Rover, your Land Rover. Yeah, because there's lots of Land Rovers, Discoveries, and all that sort of stuff. Because we have the Land Rover factory, and a lot of people work there and live there, and they all have company cars. Yeah. Even if you work on the assembly line, you can get a company vehicle, leased vehicle, which is considerably cheaper. But in Acox Green, it seems to be a very common thing to have your windscreen, your passenger screen there. The theory is, including speaking to the local Bobby, he's not a Bobby really, he's a young kid. It was probably a homeless person.
Yeah.
And he saw the opportunity to get something to eat. And they're fairly certain it wasn't a car thief, a normal car thief, because they smashed the window and, as you know, the glass shatters. Yeah. There was only an area in the centre big enough to put your hand through. They didn't knock the glass out so as they could lean in or unlock it or anything. It was a prawn mayonnaise sandwich, Kevin. And yes, I do have a fridge.
Now, I'm going to give Iceland a plug. I went in there the other day and I thought, I'm having this. I'm having it. I still look at the carbs. So I'm having this and I'm having that. 70 quid. I went in 2 days later in another Iceland. So this is a big Iceland in the winter. Then I said, I think I'm having this. I'm having that. I'm having this. Another 50 quid.
Have you got a bloody big freezer?
And Sheila says to me, the freezer is now packed, Peter. Do not buy anything more. Because they laugh with my guys that work for me. I says, right, everything okay? Yeah, everything's up and running. Everything's taken care of. So what can I do? This says, go to Home Bargains in Costa, like you usually do. My van can't go past a Costa. It draws
without
it in.
turning in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what I've done, Stephen. I've actually changed my eating habits again, and I actually feel better for it. Not try to fight. I'll get a bacon roll at McDonald's with a cup of tea now in the morning. Doesn't affect me. But I feel better. Is that strange?
It is getting a balance, isn't it, between what you enjoy eating and what you should be eating. Yeah, you've got to have some luxuries, shall we call them.
Otherwise, life's not worth it. I'm down to 11 stone 8.
Very good.
Without even trying. So I'm happy at that. I'm a 34 waist now, and I'm quite happy where I am now. No point in trying to get smaller. That's it. Right. What the hell is happening in the world? Let me have a look at Twitter trends. I'll go and look at Twitter and see what it is.
So Peter's looking at Twitter to find out what's trending. I've been looking at The Guardian and at the BBC website. And yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. Remember I've told you about Anna Breeze?
You talk about it quite often, Peter, yeah.
She's just been banned from YouTube because she done an ex-TV executive. She done an interview with him. Next thing, she's been struck off YouTube.
Well, basically, you can be struck off Facebook, you can be struck off YouTube, you can be struck off anywhere because they're rules, not your rules.
It was an interview.
That's where the problem is.
It was a normal interview.
Depends who complained, Peter.
Oh, here's one. Should Mr. Farage be included in the live leaders debate on BBC Today?
It's a mystery to me, Peter.
What?
How he's actually got himself into 2 debates.
Are you telling me they have debates on the TV?
Yeah.
That's so exciting news. I think I might fall asleep.
Going back to polls,
he wouldn't fall.
Going back to the polls, Peter. He's actually beating the Conservatives by about a point now. So he's staying out to be on the debate as well.
Isn't the problem though that it's spread nationwide and it's like spreading butter thin? Yeah.
Right, but here's the other thing. Why should it be the top 3 all the time? Why not give little ones a say on the BBC or whatever?
With the TV debates, it was slanging match between Conservative and Labour. Lib Dems were there, Greens were there, SNP were there, Plaid Cymru were there, and Nigel Farage was there.
Yeah. Now, I listened to Nick Ferrari, yesterday. I can't remember how many times you asked Sir Keir Starmer. You were part of, in 2016 or whatever, you were part of the Labour Party, you were on the opposition cabinet. He says, if you won, would you have served under Jeremy Corbyn? He never got an answer. He never got an answer.
As Rishi Sunak would say, you're asking me the wrong question. You shouldn't be asking me about the past. You should be asking me about the future. Yeah, what happened in the past is gone. We can't do anything about that. I wasn't involved in all 14 years.
Yeah. Do you think Rishi Sunak's got a grip in the real world as we see it?
No.
Yeah. No, what would we class ourselves as, guys? What are we? Are we working class?
Yes.
Pensioners. That's what we are. Oh no, you're not a pensioner,
I'm not
are
a
you?
pensioner till a year and a half. And then I'm going to get a limp and I'm going to tell people off. I'll get somebody to break my leg so I can get a limp. But I don't know. It's a crazy world. Did this happen years ago? Has it been like this forever? It probably has been, but however,
what's
we just
the
never got to hear about it.
price of? I see Corinda mentioning petrol. What's the price of petrol where you are? Because I can't believe how much it's fell in the last 10 days. Where
All right, I've not a clue.
Well, it was 149.9 at the Tesco Esso station. It's 140.9 last night.
Yeah, well,
9p in 10 days it's gone down. It's still bloody expensive, but
just before you come on, John, I was speaking to Stephen about the price of insurance, and I've been with the same broker for years. Hi, Peter, this year it's going to be 8,500 for your 4 vehicles. And I said, what? And I says, I know I've been with you a long time. I says, I'm now going to have to look somewhere else, which I have been doing. That's why I was in early. And it's not a case, I just felt they didn't want me anymore. We had a big claim against us. And I was about 3 months out. I got on to another guy. I put it out, and I'll be I'm going to spend most of my day going on to insurance people. I will get the best price I can now. Yeah, I really will. And I was absolutely shocked. But most of the guys I know in the industry are getting hammered with van insurance. Don't think Tesco actually do van insurance for self-employed.
I think they do.
I've got a mini fleet.
But yeah, I'm only saying that because that's where I ended up.
Yes. Yeah.
Because our 2 cars went from 490 to 815 pounds by staying with Direct Line, and I then got it for 613 something quid. Can't remember the exact, from Tesco's for exactly the same 5-star de facto cover.
Yeah, so it just shows you've got to start.
It doesn't pay any more to be loyal.
No. Well, my biggest cost is, my biggest thing I'm looking at just now is the price of bookkeeping. And I've got
I'm afraid, being a one-man band, I've always done it myself, but then I don't issue more than, in a really heavy month, I would have issued maybe 7 or 8. These days, it's only 2 or 3 invoices a month, whereas you're doing a lot more than that.
Well, I'm about 200,000 now. And basically, I need somebody to do it for me, but I've found a way of keeping it less restrictive. So you got to keep you can be good at some things, John. Do you use Xero, by the way?
Sorry?
What do you use? Xero? Excel?
I used the system I wrote when I first started in Access. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
It has everything I need. And I just hand the printouts from it to the accountant at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Plus all the other rubbish you have to supply.
Well,
actually went there last week and handed over my stuff. She nearly died because normally she has to chase me in September, October. And
well, hook or by crook, I am cutting costs for sure. I've got 2 years left in my vans, and I'm not buying anything else. I'm hiring them if I need one extra.
yeah.
Hopefully somebody's offered me a lot of money to get rid of me by then.
Corinda, that's lots. That's for 2 cars, Corinda, not 1.
Was that for 2 cars, John? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Unfortunately, we
Sirius is insured for less than 2,000 miles a year.
yeah,
It doesn't go anywhere.
we had a big crash, £43,000 it cost.
Wow.
And it's just 3 months. Well, this firm says it's on for 5 years, but this other guy says no, after 3 years, you can get, he says, you're 3 months out. He says, let me see what I can do for you. I might get somebody to take on the risk. So never give up. And boy, once you start looking at things, you can make a saving.
It must have took me 2 days to find the several £100 saving, but you know, if you don't, you don't get it, do you?
They've no. So is Kevin still here? Kevin, what part of London are you in?
They're not in London these days. They're in
Other,
I think they're still in Stanford-le-Hope in Essex, but I might be wrong. They might have moved again.
One of my better days in London was sitting
The
in
same area, John. Sorry.
On you go.
No, it's okay. I was just saying to John, they're in the same area.
Yeah. Well, one of the better days, I just jumped in a London bus and I had just sit and watch in London. It was great. Right up to Bexley Heath and back for £175.
So people with pensioners' passes in Birmingham, they go all the way around the outer circle to keep warm in the winter.
Do they indeed? Bring flasks with them.
I don't know about the bringing the flasks, but they go all the way around. It takes over an hour to go all the way around. And obviously, the more often it stops, the longer it takes.
Well, I get free buses in Aberdeen, and once you get the app and sort it out, it's brilliant. I really enjoyed my time in London using the bus app. It was great.
I've had my bus pass for 2.5 years now. I've still not got on a bus with it.
Have you not? That's interesting.
Let me just write this down. There is an app which we find extremely useful. And it's this. Wait a minute. I wish I could spell. You can download it on your phone, and basically you download it on your phone and it knows where you are.
Yeah.
You track the location. You can then add people and you know where they are.
Yeah.
So it's extremely useful to know, especially when I go out. Angelica knows where I am.
Yeah.
She knows where I'm running. She knows where I'm walking. Yeah.
Yes. Sarah and Tom do that, but I wouldn't want Celia to know where I am.
Well, look at Dr. Mosley. If he'd had it, he might have been saved.
Yep. Good point, Peter. That would, if he'd had his phone with him with Life 360 on,
yeah,
they'd have found him straight away.
It's such a shame. That guy was nice guy. Just shows you we can. I don't know what they've said. It's probably been a heat exhaustion and then a heart attack or something. It's such a shame.
It's natural causes at the moment. I mean, the thing is that it's handy to know where people are.
Yeah,
really,
especially wives with their husbands.
Well, and that's always been the argument. Don't invade my privacy. But when you get to a certain age, it's always good. I mean, I'll give you a practical example.
Yeah.
Angelica went to meet her daughter and granddaughter on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew when Angelica was on the way back. I knew when she got nearer home. I knew when to put the kettle on.
Yeah.
It's important things like this. Yeah. Knowing where each other are. I mean, when we were in Australia, we added James, my son, to it, so that when we went out for a walk, if we ever got lost, he knew where we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's free.
Yeah.
It's totally free. You can pay $10 a month, but you don't need to. And we use it virtually every day. So I'm going out for a run at 11:30 today, and Angelica will know where I'm running. And she'll also know when I stop.
And then she'll say, you're next to Tesco's, could you bring back tea bags?
Well, she can do that. She can send messages and support.
Yeah, well, I'll have to tell Sheila that one, but not that I'm hiding anything. She'll say, "Are you sending that Costa again?" Oh, right. I wouldn't have liked that, you know.
Celia's only just mastered taking a photo on her phone, so I don't think she'd be.
Yeah.
The idea of using an app would probably frighten her to death.
You set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And just load it up, log in, and then add the people you want to add, and then you can just forget it, and you only look at it when you actually.
So they both got to have the app, though.
Yeah, the app is active on your phone all the time.
Yeah.
But when you look at the app, you can see basically where everybody is. Okay, and it's great for families. I mean, if you imagine a situation where you have 3 young children, and they've got the mobile phones, because 86% of kids do have mobile phones, then you can know exactly where they are, or roughly where they are. It's not pinpoint accurate, but it's accurate enough to know which county they're in, and which town they're in, and which street they're in. Yeah. So for keeping an eye on your kids and not keeping an eye on your kids, it's ideal. So Life 360, LIFE 360 is the app, and it is free, and it is a godsend in terms of knowing locations. Right.
I mean, we've got, do you know something? We've got trackers in the vans, right? Never look at them. Never look at them. Told the guys, never look at them. I don't even know the password, but it's there if we need it to backtrack something. Andy sometimes has a quick look in to see where everybody is. That's basically it. Yeah, so that was me on the Trish Goddard show. I've been on the telly a lot, you know, over the years. But I was amazed how that article, and I'm sure it's not the end, picked up other people. You know?
Yeah.
And
if you go to a topic that's interesting that people want to know about.
Well, I spoke to a lady called Lulu Gunter. She asked me to give a talk to help get ex-servicemen into our industry. So I phoned her. I says, go and have a look at that one, because not only ex-servicemen, people in their 50s plus. Because a lot of these people are so disheartened that they can't get a job because of their age.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified now, trying to go for a job, 64. But they might think I'm 55, you see. They might think I'm a young man.
You're as old as you feel, Peter.
No, I feel great. I said to Sheila, how do you feel about being 70 and a bit now? She goes, fine.
Yeah, it's
she
just
wouldn't know. Wouldn't know.
I use the Fitbit app, and I wear my Fitbit 24 hours a day. My health is monitored. I've got the implant, so my health is being monitored from Bristol, and I know, I can see what my breathing rate is, what my heart rate is. All the salient things you need to know about your health are on the Fitbit for free. And I'm all for free software. You need is Fitbit, and I get all the information I need.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Well, as I said, I had a little operation in my foot last week, and I feel better already. And in fact, I was away walking the dog this morning, which I don't usually do. I went out and I feel better, and then I'm going to wait to get some physio or something done in my feet as well. And hopefully I'll be able to get up and go about again better, you know.
Brilliant. Now, John spoke a moment ago about software he wrote for his accounts, and I dusted off my programming toolkit and I created this. And I'm just going to bring it full screen so everybody can see it. Okay. This is a piece of software I wrote, and basically it tells you my live broadcast on OneStream Live yesterday was a live gone boring interactive hacks, and you can actually check it out on YouTube. And this is the Quartz Garden in Wiltshire. So when people ask about me, I can talk about the Quartz Garden in Wiltshire. I can talk about Angelica's London Marathon. It's there. I can talk about our visit to Australia. And we started the show with talking about Stonehenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I can say that I'm live on Amazon on Monday, on Tuesday, and we've got a new show, Angelica and I. We're going to be broadcasting together on Amazon, and it's called Walking, Jeffing and Running, and that will start next week.
Okay.
Wednesday, I broadcast for One Stream Live. Thursday, today, Blabbing for Britain. And then Friday is Ask Angelica. So that's a piece of software. And all I need to do is to actually share it on the screen, and I can tell you my stories. That was just a quick look at a piece of software, what I wrote to actually help me with live broadcasting.
Now, going back to broadcasting, Sheila watches a woman in Iran who's on her own, husband's left her, and she's got 3 kids. She gets 338,000 views approximately per video. And she does it 7 days a week. I worked it out. You get $6 per 1,000. They're making 14 grand a week, according to my calculations.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. But people are starting to say, I bet she does that, and then goes away to a hotel or another house that she's purchased. That's a lot of money, you know?
Right place, right time.
But the big thing is with that, you can be turned off any day.
True.
Yeah, so what do you think of that figures then, Stephen?
I think they're good. You can earn money from live video, but you have to have the right topic, and you have to be personable, and you have to build your audience, because it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, you've got to broadcast. You've got to broadcast at a regular time. You've got to promote it across all social media.
Yeah.
And you just got to stay with it, because if you don't stay with it, it just stops.
It
so
is
you've got to be consistent. Yeah. I mean, like when I do the Wednesday show, I've now got people coming to watch on YouTube.
Have you?
And they're regulars. Yeah. Now, I'm nowhere near the numbers that you've been talking about, but I'm happy with the numbers that there are.
Yeah. And do you get paid from YouTube, Stephen? Are you monetized?
Well, I'm not broadcasting to my own channel.
Ah, right. Okay.
Right. Okay. Little inside secret. The One Stream Live YouTube channel is monetized.
Right.
And when my videos get over 100 views, they attract adverts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So money is being earned.
Okay.
From YouTube.
Okay.
Because you can't get away from it. Once a video's got ads on it, you've got to wait and click through them, as we know.
So the secret is get on YouTube, have a good subject, don't swear, don't be too controversial, and then you should make money to get in that niche market.
Truly.
Like Mr. Beast, have you seen him?
Well, I've heard of him. I know somebody who gets 500,000 views per video.
Wow.
And he's in my circle, as it were. And he basically plays the video in the background and then does a voiceover.
Yes.
And he's American.
Yeah.
He's a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And he talks about Donald Trump, and he gets hundreds of thousands of views.
Oh, is that not dangerous? You may get cancelled one day.
No, Professor Peter Nez, Peter N-E-Z or Z, depending on where you're living. And basically you can go and watch him anytime. And he is winning, as it were.
Very good. Is that him that carries?
Sorry?
Is that him that carries?
I don't know. John, it's over to you.
It's that time again. Time to say goodbye. So it's goodbye from the man in Scotland. Wave you bugger. Goodbye from the man in Wiltshire, and goodbye from me in the West Midlands. Same time, same place. Next week. Bye.
Oh, hang on. Can we get Corinda in? All right, I've no idea, Corinda. Sorry, we're going to have to leave that one open.
Right.
Because that's what his mum and dad decided.
German.